Welcome to a brand new episode of Lunch with Doug, a unique and fun experience brought to you by the creative minds here at the Music Exerbia Project. We're here today thanks to the generous support of our esteemed sponsors. Harry Frog Graphics, your go-to destination for all things graphic at 150 North Commercial Street in Nevada, Missouri. Reach out to them at 417-381-1077. Karen McNair, your friendly neighborhood nutritionist. Dial 269-267-4644 to learn about the monthly information class or to schedule a personal consultation. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday. Walk-ins are welcome. No appointment needed. American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Newly remodeled with a fresh, clean look, gaming machines, and new smoke heaters. Open to the public. Express Printing and Hydrographics, a print shop and a commercial-grade hydro dipping facility with custom wide-format hydro film printing capability. Located at 14144 East Highway 54 at Adams Plaza. Contact them at 417-283-2005. Thank you for choosing to spend your lunchtime with me. With you today on Lunch with Doug, as promised, I'm with Garrick. He is an amazing musician. You've got some releases out, some songs out.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I started off a few years back. My brothers and sisters, I've got a big family, and they had all just been like, "When can we listen to some of your songs?" And not, you know, like, we want to listen to it on streaming. And I was like, "All right." So I put up a bunch of songs for them, and that turned into, some of these songs are not bad, and I'm going to keep doing that. And so I kind of adjusted my focus in the last year, and I put out this year, I put out an acoustic single called Top of the Rock. And then most recently, I put out my first full band project, and it's a song called Tobacco and Sage. So we're working towards right now having a few songs coming out here at the end of the year into 2025. So I got a big schedule lined up. I'm hoping to have maybe an EP or an album done in the next year, but we're not going to rush any of that. Just we got 4 up right now. I actually removed a few of the old songs just so I could come back and rework them and give people something that was a good product if it was quality sound and engineered well.
Yeah, fantastic. Where are you recording at?
So my guitar player, he is a producer, and he is out of Wheaton. He's worked, he's been a music guy most of his life, and he actually reached out to me last year and was like, "Hey man, I really like your music, and if you want to ever do anything production wise, I'd love to help." And so we started hanging out, and he eventually he's a member of my band now. He's my lead guitar player, and he started making music as a hobby, and now he has grown into someone that can put out a good product. And he's working with in the last year, I think he's added probably half a dozen to maybe 10 local artists that are now doing his work as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's done a great job, and we're just trying to all help each other out and keep it in our group of musicians. So, if one guy does something good, it reflects on the next guy.
Yeah. It's fantastic. You got a producer guitar player. That's always just a
lucky his name
find.
is Clayton Michael Ray, and he is awesome. So if you're ever interested in making music or reaching out to someone that does so, he would be a great option.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, there's in Wheaton, I've heard of some stuff up there. I didn't know who was doing it, but I've heard like a buzz about it. So he's got a buzz going for him. I just hadn't heard his official name or anything like that, but I've heard people say there's something going on up there. So
yeah, it's pretty fun. We've got a really good group of local musicians from Southwest Missouri right now, and a few Northeast Oklahoma and Kansas folks that are all coming out, and we're making music, and we're planning on playing shows together in the future. So it's pretty exciting right now, this part of the music game for myself.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for the music as a whole right now. and especially like in our backyard, there's lots going on. There really is. And
There's so many independent musicians that are just good at what they do, and in a world of streaming and social media, they're the small folk just get that much more recognition, and it's been yeah, it's kind of blowing up here.
yeah, I read a thing recently that they said that our music industry now and the way things are set up, and it's actually better. They say it's better than it was like in the late 50s and early 60s when, like, when your Elvis Presley's was coming out of like Sun Records and your Johnny
Hmm.
Cash's and all those guys. Except what we've got different now is those guys were able to do it, and they were able to be received and toured, and the radio stations would take them very seriously and whatnot. Except now we've got this thing called the internet, same kind of situation, but we've got our technologies about 10,000 times better. We've got this
Hmm.
10,000 times better distribution. We've got all these tools, and so it's the same time, like, kind of, except it's bigger. So it's great for new artists. And nowadays, it's almost like that's where you find your artists now. You discover them on Spotify or TikTok, and you don't know, there's no who's this person. It's just like, this is a good song.
Absolutely. I think I found the biggest difference with the streaming, and I can see like in the past, is it doesn't matter, if you have the money or if you have the backing, you can go and make the song and put it out, and it can be whatever quality you want. It's kind of what I did in the beginning. Is I put out this EP. It was called Four Chords and the Truth, and I pulled all those songs down because they just weren't very good quality, and I want to make them something good. But 2.5, 3 years ago, just having those that group of songs out really got some people interested in the music that I was making. So it didn't take thousands of dollars. It took a $20 payment to a distributor and some of my time just to record it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and you can get great recordings, like live recordings now. You can buy a console to record your band live, and put effects and everything. It'll sound like just like something that would come from a studio, except you performed it live, right? And,
Yes, yes, that's actually
yeah,
something that my group is working on right now. We run a digital system, so that's just that whole idea. Everything goes through our own computer before it goes to the main sound, and we can record an entire show or a practice, and it's really great for going back and looking at it and be like, oh, how I did this song this time was really good, or I liked this note here. And sometimes you get a song done live, and you're like, oh, I could EQ this and put it out as a single or something like that.
yeah, yeah. A lot of those the TikTok people I've seen, and they'll do it. It's professionally, or I say professionally, but I mean it's through a nice mixer recording, and but they performed it live, but it sounds great, and then they'll put out the real version of it, right? They'll go viral on TikTok or whatever, and they'll put out a real version of it, and then nobody really likes the real version. They want the version that they saw on TikTok, right? They just want that, except
Yes.
they want the
Yeah.
complete. So then it'll be like a month later, and it's like the TikTok version comes out, and it'll get like millions of plays versus thousands of plays on the one they spend all the money on, and it's just funny because it's like they just like that recording.
I think there's a big wanting of music lovers in America right now, especially in the independent scene, of people who they just want to hear the raw sound. They don't need the production level of the early 2000s anymore. They want to feel like, oh, I went to this show and I heard, it's just like I have a single out called Tobacco and Sage. It's the newest one. And our biggest thing is when we go play shows right now is we want to play that show like the recording. And just so people, when they hear it, it's like, oh, that's that song again. Because if you change it and people already like it and they hear if you change it, they may not adjust to it as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. And it's like playing an old Elvis record. Or Johnny Cash's.
Hmm.
Like they're not the. I mean, they were high quality at their time, but they're not really high quality now. They sound dated,
No.
dated when you hear it. But that's the record that everybody's heard so many times, and that's the version they want to hear. So that continues to, continues to get played, and it's so amazing. It's just about I don't know, about the performance, about the thing that was happening or whatever it is. But nowadays, like you said, you can just turn on, and you turn on and record straight into something now, and its quality
Hmm.
just playing straight to it now is like way exponential. I think somebody said Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon album was did with 8 tracks, I think they said. And they
Yeah.
and they had to mix it all live. They had to like hand mix and turn those volumes up and down and all that stuff. And tape.
I couldn't imagine doing that. The
Yeah.
creativity that was involved.
Yeah, and I'm like 8 tracks like I mean, how did they do that? Like there's like so much going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wow. It's just so now you just, my Audacity can do more tracks than that. You know?
I think we did a song, and recently it's going to be one of the new ones coming out, and we did, oh man, I think it was like 100 and some odd takes
Wow.
of vocal, guitar, fiddle, bass, drums, and then you go through, those 100 takes, and you get the product that you want. And then now, we're thinking about putting this song out. Though that's the way I'm going to have to sing it for the rest of forever. Because I mean, that's the very important is keeping your product true to what it is in today's world. Like I said, I think people they hear that, just like those old records. They hear those old records, and that's what it is. Well, they're going to hear these new records, and if you go out and you do it something a different way, it may not respond as well. And so, my goal is always just to keep it as natural and as raw as I can, but also put the quality musicianship behind it.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, what do you think about the AI? Because now they're going to do all these like fake songs in AI and
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not I don't know. I'm a songwriter at heart, and so AI to me is like it's a little odd. I was in Texas back in October, and I was with a fellow musician, and we were just going around and doing some shows and whatnot. And we're going through Spotify one day, and this artist popped up, and it was like he had, one release every month since May of last year. And I was like, that's odd. He flips it on and like, oh, it's AI. And it wasn't bad. You could tell there was no heart in it, but I mean, the ability to go in with an AI program and just put an idea in for a song, and then the computer throws something at you. I mean, you might get a good one out of every couple hundred or so.
Yeah.
And,
have you heard of the AI Beatles?
no, I haven't.
Yeah, there's literally a TikTok page is called the AI Beatles, and what it does is it has AI, and it makes songs that are new songs that sound like the voices of the Beatles. So it sounds like Beatles, and sometimes it's pretty good. There are some, and it does sound pretty authentic. I'm like, wow, but the first couple ones they did were kind of comical. They were like saying, I'm not Ringo Starr and I'm not George Harrison.
Oh.
We're the AI Beatles. It was like an introduction to them. It was kind of comical, but then the next one that came out was real serious, and I was like, man, had I not known that it was AI, I might have could have mistaken that for a Beatles song I'd never heard before. If they'd said,
wow, I have to check that out.
So yeah, now, and after I listened to it, the first one was really really good, but then occasionally I'll get one that's like, now I'm getting better at spotting AI a little bit.
Yeah,
but it does have a kind of a, it kind of has a, I don't know which one, I don't know what I want to say. A style.
It has a little compressed sound a
Yeah.
lot.
And but it's fun. But I'm like, wow. So I'm thinking. So if the AI Beatles are a thing, like, because I guess I want to say like Paul McCartney and them guys, they allowed that, so they're like not going to have a lawsuit because they
Or they
said
probably had to. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know what the legalities
they
of behind that would be.
well what they did was, I know Paul McCartney, they licensed their voices to some of the software, some of the AI,
Uh,
so you can buy some of these things where you can emulate voices, and the
yes.
people's voices that it emulates are, they have licensed that software, so it's legit. The creators of it that are using it, whoever's making that page, has whatever properly bought the service that makes that, so it's proper. So Paul McCartney gets some money, I'm sure, from it, or got some up front to license it. So yeah, they just wanted to be like cool with that or whatever, and they said okay. So yeah, that's out there.
That's super interesting. It's kind of scary, but I mean, it's cool that you can get a product from the computer that you wouldn't get in today's world, you know. But
Yeah,
it is also very scary because an AI program could just put out a pop or any kind of genre song. Just,
yeah.
I mean, in seconds you could have a product.
Yeah, for the hacker side of it, it's scary because they can emulate voices and pretend to be people and stuff. So that obviously is illegal if you are pretending to be them. But in this case, they're clearly saying we're not the Beatles.
Yeah.
But what I think is going to become, and is becoming, kind of a popular genre. Like I said, AI is going to be its own thing. I really don't think. I think I'm with you. I think that your authentic performance, because I see that the same thing for years. Like I said, like we've talked about these old recordings that still stand around. It's because of the way they made it and what people have heard, and they liked it, and so they still like it, even if you can hear a little tape hiss in the background, even if it's remastered now. It
Hmm.
still sounds dated. It's about the performance on the recording, I think, more than anything. But
Yep.
but I do think that the AI, there will be a genre of AI that will get popular. Like if you saw the artists where they're obviously it's fictional. They're saying like, oh, what if Jimi Hendrix recorded, Nirvana song? This might be what.
Yeah, that is a very interesting.
Yeah.
Would be very interesting. I would love to just to hear it for sure. And things of that nature. That makes it. It does give it some ground to stand on. I think you're right though. The biggest thing for me, and I always tell everybody who ever wants to go out, and whether you want to be a hobbyist or you want to do it for a living, is you have to get out. You have to play shows, and that's one thing the computer will never be able to do. And that's the biggest part of what I do playing music is I want people to go out and I want them to feel the words that come out of my voice, understand that there's some feeling in it. And so yeah, I think the AI stuff is scary and cool all at the same time. There's a lot of those people who are gone, and it would be cool to just to hear something that was never put out by them. So for sure.
Yeah, that's fun. It's for it's fun for the fans, to like that. But then even like with the Beatles, like there is real groups. There's a band called the Liverpool Legends, which
Yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They're out of Branson, right?
yeah,
Or used to be. Yeah.
yeah. They're a tribute. Well, they're still in Branson. They just don't have their theater anymore. They do
Ah.
half a season in Branson at one of the other theaters, and then they do a half a season touring now. But
Oh,
they've got some songs that they wrote, and of course they don't claim them to be like new Beatles songs or anything like that. But they've written some songs themselves, and they've got an album out of their own tunes.
cool.
Well, of
Cool.
course
That's
they naturally sound like the Beatles because those guys are very heavily influenced by the Beatles. But I liked it honestly. I liked their album a lot better than the AI stuff I heard online. It was much more. Even though they weren't trying to be the Beatles in it. They sound like the Beatles because that's what they do.
oh.
But they weren't.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I've seen, being from, here, we've all been to Branson, so I've seen their sign before. I didn't know they made their own music. That's very interesting to
Yeah,
check that out.
yeah. Actually, it's a weird story because I worked with them. I feel like I influenced them to get it on streaming. I encouraged them. I said, hey, because they had it at their show and they did a show up here in Nevada. I worked sound with them on it, and I said, oh wow, you got an album. I said, I think that's cool. And I encouraged them to go ahead and release it. I said, it's cool. People know you're not the Beatles, and they'll like it because it is what it is. And
Hmm.
they ended up putting it on streaming after that. So I'm like, I think they listened to me. So
That's awesome.
yeah, you can look it up now. It's on Spotify and everything.
That's all it takes sometimes for someone to say, I really like that song. Can I listen to it more?
Yeah, because it's to me it was like because they have that sound and it's like, well, it's like Oasis sounded like the Beatles, I mean, and that's why people
Yeah.
liked them. They liked them because they sounded like the Beatles. They were different, but they were that genre. It's almost like now they've got this whole genre. It's called Ramones Core, and it's strictly bands
Oh,
that sound like punk rock Ramones,
punk rock Ramones,
1975. Yeah.
2 minute songs, and we're gonna go fast.
Yeah, so there's almost like there probably is somebody calling it that. There's almost like a Beatles, core
Yeah.
genre too. You sound like the Beatles, but it's new songs. Because
That's,
you can only listen to. There's only so many Beatles songs, and eventually, if you like that kind of sound, you got to find something else to keep listening to.
yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of influence out there that people get really niched into and they get really good at it. And it's something that in the long run, even the people that were inspired of would be like, that's great, that's good music, and they'd be proud of it too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. So I got well off of your music career, and I know you're doing great things. And you're playing around. Are there some other shows coming up that we can mention? That
Yeah, this this coming Saturday, I'm going to be in Joplin at JB's downtown doing a songwriter storyteller show. And then coming up on December the 20th, I'll have a full band show at Osage Spring and Neosho. And when I play with the full band, we bill it as Garrick Fausett and the Revelry. And then on December 27th, we have a full band show at Grand Lake Casino, and my buddies Rangeline are going to be opening the show for us there. And then on the 4th of January, I will be at Honey Pops down in Anderson, also again with the band. And we're going to have Miss Jewel Lynn opening up for us. And I'm really excited for that show because Honey Pops is a new spot down there, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm ready to be a part of that scene too.
Yeah, I've actually heard good things about them too, and I saw some of the artists that they're having are, the good ones. So
Yeah.
it's I'm like, yep, they're getting all the good artists down there, so that's a good place probably. So that's cool, man. So now, if they're gonna go listen to your music, you got some songs out. You said, what would
Yes.
be your top pick for them to start with? How do we get our first encounter with your music?
So if you want to go out and listen to my stuff, streaming wise, I only have 4 songs out now. I took some older stuff down. Everyone's favorite tends to be Top of the Rock, but I'm very partial to Man in the Moon, and so is my grandmother. It's a song that was inspired by my grandpa, and so I left it out. So all my streaming, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, wherever you get your music is just under my name, Garrick Fausett, GarrickFaussett. And then I'm also on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, and it's at Garrick Fausett Music on all 3 of those. And there are several, right now on TikTok, there are several unreleased songs that you could check out, and I'm hoping to have a new video up before the end of the year of a song called Horsey that was previously released, and we're going to do a YouTube video and let it sit on that platform to help drive those numbers a little bit, and then we'll hopefully have it out on streaming platforms in 2025.
Fantastic, man! You're very organized. I like that.
I'm trying to learn the more and more I go. This year was a really big year for me as far as getting settled in and focusing on playing music, mostly playing shows and putting out content. The playing shows has really escalated, and I'm getting better at content. Not perfect yet, but just trying to get as much out there and reach as many people as I can without overdoing it or just putting out stuff that's unwanted.
Yeah, yeah, it's a tricky world out there, isn't it?
And it's just like playing chess, and I've had had to be really patient the last couple months because I'm sitting on a bunch of songs, and in today's world, if I could put out 25 songs tomorrow and it be ethical and I think beneficial to my career, I would do it anyway, honestly. But I've got people in my corner saying, "Hey, just be patient. We'll put those songs out as time comes." And so it's just it's a working process, but I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, but it sounds very exciting. It sounds very exciting, and you're getting all the cool spots. You're playing around. You're doing the thing, man. It's do? Or I try to avoid it. I'm gonna ask you just because we're having a good interview, but I try to avoid talking about regular life with musicians because musicians are, you know, I know most of the new upcoming musicians always have like a regular job or whatever, but it sometimes it takes away from the identity when I talk on the show. But since we've talked about AI and all these different things, let's talk about how your life is now. Do you have a regular job or do you just do music, or is that how's that work?
Music has been my focus for this year. I grew up in the world of horticulture, working in greenhouses. My family has a business here in Neosho, where I'm from, and I grew up working there from the time that I could work all the way through college. And when I came back home, I was working. I was doing that, and I also was working with USA Wrestling. I was been a wrestler since I was 4 years old, and when I was in college, I decided, oh, I'm gonna go and play football, and it was really hard to do school and work, and I found out I could go officiate wrestling matches. So I was doing that a lot, and seasonally, of course, and so I did that until up until this January of 2024, and I stepped away from working the farm and a couple other side things, and so this year primarily my focus has just been music. One thing I still do is in Neosho. There's a place called Osage Spring. It's a nice little popular music spot and hangout. And I work there one night a week right now on Wednesday night, and that's my one day I have an actual job of the week. So other than that, it's just music.
They need to have you play down there once a week. That
I actually do play there once a month.
oh, you play there once a month. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna be there with my band on December 20th.
I read a thing about. The reason I was asking that is because, like I said, I usually avoid that, and I thought you were kind of full time, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, it takes a lot for the musicians to when they go into doing it full time. It really takes a lot for them. They have to have a lot of opportunities. They got to be really really busy to be able to sustain that full time. So it's even nowadays a lot of the artists that are on major labels, even some of them have like day jobs when they're not touring or seasonal
Yeah,
work. It's crazy.
yeah. I found that I just had the opportunity, in the last 18 months to really focus on it. And I was like, if I'm gonna really dive into it, and I want to do this with my life, it's not gonna hurt me to take some months out of it, or a year or 2 years, and struggle a little. But at the end of the day, I think it's been the best thing because coming into 2025 now, I've been playing. I don't know how many shows I played this year. I know it was over 120, and I think going into 2025, it's just been the biggest boost to me because playing every opportunity I've gotten this year has really just it's raised the level of the height at which I can play and perform. The amount of songs I know, my writing has gotten better, and so I have no plans now to go back and get a job or a full time job. I think I'm just gonna stick with my one night a week working, and play music as often as I can. Turns out I play, some weeks it's two, some weeks it's five times. So it's it's just grinding right now.
Yeah. It's a great time. It's a great time for live music right now. And I think with
Absolutely.
AI ruining things for us, it'll get better for live music.
I think it will get a lot better because people. It's just like there's this big scene. I really am big into all genres of music, and one of those genres is EDM. And EDM's great when you're like hanging out, you're going to a party, or maybe you're in the car and you got a long drive. Uh, but not everybody in Joplin, Neosho, or wherever you are can put on these big EDM shows just because of the production level. And that's whereas me and a guitar, I can sit in a room with 50 people, and I think we can get something good, or they can get something enjoyable out of that at a very basic production level. And AI might help us out in the long run. They might people might realize, oh, there's no heart to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to sound all kind of the same. And it'll get a style. I think it's already got a style. And maybe they'll get better at being more real. They probably will, but at the same time, still going to have a style. It's going to be it's going to be its own genre thing that it falls under. And a lot of it, I think, is going to end up in that, what we talked about earlier, that novelty thing where they're doing stuff like AI Beatles, which is clearly not real, but fun. But fun is only fun for so long. Then you want something that's got some meat and potatoes, something serious. You want a real heartful song from a real songwriter.
Yeah. And that's always what I think myself and people like myself strive for, is to put the feeling into the song, something people can reflect upon and go, man, I really understood that.
Exactly. Yep. And I think just hearing about your songs, I think you've got some of those already, I'm sure. The one about, you said something about your grandfather. One was inspired by him. Yeah,
actually, two of I think the really cool one is "Top of the Rock." My great grandfather served in World War II, and he wrote a letter to my grandpa, and it just said, "Dear son, my name is Walter. I'm in the war. It's a mean and terrible, nasty game where men try to kill each other. I love you. Take care of your mom." And there was he actually repeated that sentence, I think 3 times in the letter. Just, "I love you. Take care of your mom." He didn't think he was coming home. So that's where that song comes from. And one of the coolest things ever, I played it at an open mic right after I wrote it. And there's older gentleman. He was sitting at the bar. And when I got done, he came over and he shook my hand. And I could tell he was older, but I was like, man, he's like, he was old enough to have been in the service during World War II. He was 18 years old in 1945. And he was sitting at the bar, and I was like, man, this guy is up there. And he just said, thank you. And he goes, that was a great story. And I was like, man, that was awesome just to hear him say that.
Yeah. Yes, for real. Those guys, they lived something that some of us will never understand.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, man, hey, I'm about out of time here. It's been wonderful talking to you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us while I got you on the phone?
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'll be looking forward to catching the episode. And everybody that wants to go and follow me, it's Garrick Fausett Music on most social media platforms. GarrickFaussett Music. Do you want to catch my band? Our next day is December 20th in Neosho at Osage Spring, and then December 27th at Grand Lake Casino, and that's Garrick Fausett and the Revelry.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for being on the show with me today.
I appreciate it, Doug, very much, and it's guys like you that help us independent folks out, so we really appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. When you get that new release out, ping me, let me know what's up.
I will.
We'll get you on the show again and talk about it, okay?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
All right. Bye, man. That was Garrick Fausett on Lunch with Doug today. Thanks, folks, for spending your lunchtime with me. Once again, thank you for spending your lunchtime with me here at Lunch with Doug. Produced and created by the Music Exerbia Project and made possible by the generous support of these esteemed sponsors. Harry Frog Graphics, your go-to destination for all things graphic at 150 North Commercial Street in Nevada, Missouri. Reach out to them at 417-381-1077. Karen McNair, your friendly neighborhood nutritionist. Dial 269-267-4644 to learn about the monthly information class or to schedule a personal consultation. John's Barbershop, located at 121 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Open Tuesday through Friday. Walk-ins are welcome. No appointment needed. American Legion Post number 2, located at 402 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Newly remodeled with a fresh, clean look, gaming machines, and new smoke heaters. Open to the public. Express Printing and Hydrographics, a print shop and a commercial-grade hydro dipping facility with custom wide-format hydrofilm printing capability. Located at 14144 East Highway 54 at Adams Plaza. Contact them at 417-283-2005. Thank you for choosing to spend your lunchtime with me.